I'm not sure if you just saw me pull my phone out. We got Bubba Chandler here, Pirates right-handed pitching prospect. Before we get any depth into this, I got to show you this. So I was doing some prep here, and I was, I stumbled upon like a Clemson.com, athletics bio, and I saw that was the headshot. Can you walk me through the progression of the hair? Like, how long were you blonde? I feel like I saw a photo of you in Bradenton when you were blonde.
Yeah, so in high school, this one, it's kind of a trend. You make playoffs do it. We did it pretty much every year, and my senior year just kind of was like, I'm going to keep it. So I got drafted with it, and then I went into Bradenton with it. I went to Bradenton with it, and then I was finally time. It's like, we got to get rid of this. It was getting out of hand. But
so had you done it before you were like a junior, senior in high school, or no?
Yeah. I think we did it my sophomore year, maybe my freshman year.
Okay.
But junior year was COVID, so.
Yeah, I've got a lot that I want to, I'm sure. I've got a ton that I want to get into with you, but I want to start with, the football thing, because obviously it's fascinating, man. And, I heard a little bit about, kind of the reasoning behind Clemson. It's like, dude, you have the chance to go play for Dabo Swinney and play quarterback and do both. How diversified was your athletic portfolio growing up? Like, were you playing anything other than football and baseball, or was it always just like, hey, I'm going to do everything I possibly can on the football field and on the baseball field?
Yeah, no, I played basketball, ran track in middle school, and then when I got into high school, leisure activity was golf, so you can count that. But played basketball up until my junior year, and was when I was deciding to put which sports to put down, I kind of focus on whatnot, mainly like around baseball. Basketball wasn't it. Yeah, for multiple reasons, but and then football, started happening of getting recruited and offers and whatnot, and baseball, here I am. So
when did you kind of realize the arm talent? Like, was it a football thing? Was it a baseball thing? Say you were in middle school or something, and it's like, man, I'm throwing harder than everybody else.
I'd say it was pretty early on. When I was super young, I remember I had a really good arm, and then kind of like that middle age of probably 13, 14, 15, I didn't really grow, and then so I was kind of just slowly climbing up the ranks of a kid with a good arm and whatnot, and then puberty kind of went around and whatnot, and then started to grow, started to put on weight, started to get taller, and that's when everything started really click, and my body started to move the way it's supposed to move. And
yeah, that's a very that's a pertinent phrase in baseball here. Body moves the way it's supposed to move.
Yeah.
When did you kind of feel comfortable in that? Was it when you leaned into pitching full time? Was it, when you were quarterbacking and, hey, you were 16, 17 years old? Because that's something that I feel like you don't really think about until you're a full-time, worker trying to figure out how your body moves in the most optimal way.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say I'm probably less athletic now,
really?
Than what I was a couple years ago, but in a good way. I'm more athletic on the mound. I move better on the mound. I haven't played basketball in a couple years, so I can probably still get around and dunk a little bit, whatnot. But that's kind of how I used to gauge how athletic I was, how I moved on a basketball court. And so I'd assume I'm a little down athletically, but on the mound I'm moving better than I ever have. So
I heard you're still a damn good golfer, though. So
oh yeah,
that works. Are you close to scratch?
Yeah, I'm close. I think I played off a 1, maybe a 0.8 something. You have your good days and your bad days. But.
Yeah, but can you give me, just for the sake of my comfort with myself, can you give me something you can't do really well physically?
I don't know. I didn't get good at golf until probably this year.
Okay.
Really good. This past off season, Pirates fans probably want to hear this, but I grinded golf for a while, and then the last 2 months of the off seasons, got back into baseball. But first month was relaxing, playing golf every day.
Yeah.
For 35 straight days, and
I mean, dude,
got better.
You don't have to spray the board kind of with a checklist of things to do as much anymore. And I want to get into that because there were two things that, I guess were kind of taken away from you, but it also is just the natural progression of specialization in this game. So you go from, football and doing both on the baseball field to doing both on the baseball field to pitching. Let's start with the scrapping football thing. That had to be like the hardest thing that you've had to experience, no?
Yeah, I mean, it was tough for sure. Early on, football was kind of a way to pay for school.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. And I had some buddies who were playing college football at the time saying, hey, you got to love it. And if you want to, just get through it, you got to love it. It's one of the tougher things to do as a young man. And I loved it. Don't get me wrong. Like, I loved the sport. Maybe not loved what everything went around it. But, when I got to Clemson, I really fell in love with it. It was every day, 4 or 5 a.m., late nights, early mornings, just every single day. And, I kind of fell in love with that grind. And when I got drafted and I decided to take the opportunity with the Pirates, it was tough for a day or two. Dang, something I worked really hard for, probably never going to do again, but we're going to do something that I, truly love in the future. So, around the first game of the season, this year would be my senior year if I was at Clemson.
So you were what, a year between DJ and Cade? Is that right?
So DJ was 20, I was 21, Cade 22.
Okay.
Both great guys.
Really?
Yeah, both beasts. But, so I would be a senior. My freshman year, played Georgia. First game of the year is Clemson versus Georgia in Charlotte. And this year, it's Clemson versus Georgia in Atlanta, which is about 45 minutes from my home.
Yeah.
It's dang. I'll probably, wherever we're at, I don't even know if we're on the road or not, but wherever we're at, I'm probably just going to be gosh, I will not be watching the game that night, probably.
I will tell you, you're really good at this pitching thing, though. So going from doing both, I've seen you with the shin guard and the elbow guard on as a marauder and all that stuff, but, scrapping that and becoming specialized in the thing that you are, consensus top 100 prospect for. How has that kind of changed your day-to-day? In terms of, hey, does it change what I do in the weight room? Does it change what I do in terms of cardio? Yeah. How has your day really changed from being both to being just an arm?
Yeah, I think right off the bat, I would think it got easier. It's okay, I'm doing less, but pitching stuff. Baseball is just tough in general. Every position is, has its hardness and whatnot. And right after it got done, I was like, well, at least I can days maybe get a little shorter, a little easier. And I was wrong. I think if you treat pitching the right way and you go about it the right way, it's tough. It's got to get here early and you're leaving late, doing your post arm care, your pre arm care, you only got your arm for so long. So, trying to, maintain it as good as you can is something that, I think every guy takes it, has a good grasp on it. But, for me, that's the only thing I have to focus on now, worry about is keeping my body healthy for every 5-6 days when I go pitch, that I'm at my best. So the way I found to do that is been harder than hitting and pitching, doing both. But, hopefully over these next few years, I can find some stuff that's, a little less time consuming, a little easier on the body throughout the week leading up to the start.
It's a work smarter, not harder thing, right? But, it's so clear watching you on the hill, Bubba, that you can see the athleticism and you can see the lower half working and you can see the core working. I'm sure you retained that athleticism in the delivery and you felt that. What do you kind of prioritize in terms of feels while you're on the hill? Is it, hey, I want to feel something upper body, or is it, hey, I want to make sure that I'm getting down on the mound, I'm driving, I see you doing the backpack with the water jug on it. Where are your cues as it stands right now?
Yeah, I mean, kind of really, when the game starts, I don't, try to focus on anything of hey, if you didn't prepare the right way leading up to it, it's going to show. And then, that falls back on you. it's kind of how I look at it. Is like, don't think about anything delivery wise, mechanical wise, pitch wise. Like, focus on that throughout the week, but when it comes to game time, just go out there and compete.
Yeah.
But yeah, if after a game, if my back or right hip is sore, or I guess my right hip, but my hip's sore, so on my back leg, and then if my front hamstring on my left leg is sore, I know that I used them.
Yeah.
If my obliques, low back are sore, know that I used it.
Yeah.
Like rotating, and then if my, I'd say like if my chest over here is sore,
Left side.
Yeah,
left side.
I was using it, using my front side well and whatnot.
Gotcha.
So, that's kind of my cues of
Right.
whether or not I did something right. If I'm not sore, I'm like, okay, well, let's go back and look at some video, like what happened. Like, okay, well, I was throwing a little, or not as hard today. Like, why? Or, this pitch didn't have a certain bite on it. Why? That's kind of how I gauge stuff.
So between starts, you're, hey, you take us from Friday where you go 6 shutout with 11 punchies. We're going to get to that in a moment. But, you go 6 shutout on Friday. You're either slated to go Thursday or Friday. It sounds like the day after, maybe 2 days after, are self-assessment. When do you kind of flip the script and go self-assessment to, hey, this is my next opponent. This is, who I'm going to grind the video on?
Throwing on Friday is great because it kind of plays into like what I like to do. So the next day is like I throw, but the throwing is very light, and it's a workout recovery type day. And then today is just like a little toss, run around, get some good jogging in, get the legs moving. And it's Sunday.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go home. I'm just gonna relax. And
you watch some football during football season, I'm sure.
No.
NFL football? No. Okay.
I'm not gonna. I don't watch preseason NFL football.
No, me neither.
I got some buddies that are like from Clemson or from growing up that are playing.
Okay.
I'll just look at box scores.
Got you.
I'm not watching their games, but yeah. So like today, just relax, and then I'll look at Columbus's hitters and jot some stuff down and how I'm going to attack them and whatnot. And yeah, that's kind of pitching on like a Wednesday. Yeah. If I keep the same routine, it would make fall on Friday. Like usually on a Friday, I'm going to want to hang out with my friends or whatnot, and
right.
Some of the guys on the team. But yeah, and then Monday off day, I'll go on the course.
Nice.
Have a good time.
I know you're golfing Brickyard here? Is that right? Okay.
Yeah. And then, Tuesday bullpen, get back into it, throwing, getting the body back under you. Wednesday, leading up into the start if I'm pitching Thursday, of, getting a quick CNS lift in, which is a central nervous system lift, get your body going, activated. And then Thursday, go out there and pitch, or whether it's Friday.
I want to talk pitch by pitch. And, I've gotten to sit behind home now 3 times for you. Spring breakout in Bradenton, Futures game, noted closer, Bubba Chandler for the Futures game and for spring breakout. But I got to sit back there for an elongated stretch on Friday. And, dude, like, that fastball is so fun to watch. It just takes off. Have you always had that natural feel to spin it?
Yeah, I think football is a big part of it.
Yeah.
Probably need to start throwing the football again because...
So I was going to ask, like, I thought it was kind of a weird question to ask a former 4-star quarterback, but, like, do you still throw a football? Because I know Skeens throws a football. I know there are some other guys that do.
I my first year in, tossed it, and I was like, nah, I'm done.
Yeah.
I quit it for a reason. But it's actually pretty good for you, which I didn't know. But, growing up, my high school baseball coach knew that, too. Knew that, though. Like scouts and stuff, because I didn't have a plyer routine in high school.
Yeah.
I just kind of woke up.
Just go be an athlete.
Ripped it, yeah. But I threw the football 7 months out of the year.
Yeah.
And what he told me, after I got drafted and whatnot, scouts had asked, like, well, he doesn't have arm care. He does arm care for 8 months out of the year.
Right.
Does football every day.
Right.
It's weighted balls, the way the arm gets him, because, I had pretty clean throwing mechanics for football. And, the way the arm got in the slot and the way it finished, like, it was hitting your shoulder, it was hitting your forearm, like, it was doing everything that it needed to do, which I didn't realize, but, it worked.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I I toss it here and there, mainly left-handed. I'll throw it left-handed. But,
now, why is that? Is that a core thing? Is it, hey, I want to feel it on both sides?
Nah, I think they're left-handed.
Oh,
yeah,
got you. You were just kind of hanging out and having
save some bullets with the right, but yeah, don't get arm surgery, so you'll have to do stuff left-handed for a couple of years.
Makes sense. So you kind of had like a weird injury in high school, right? Because you missed, what was it, 2 weeks, 3 weeks in Altoona, and then you came back and you were absolute nails.
Yeah.
What was that? So you said what? Broken humerus?
Olecranon. It's funny bone.
Okay.
Yeah. So pretty much, it was like a year and a half recovery, or not a year and a half, probably a year and a month, 2 months recovery of, rehab. And then.
And this was in high school?
Yeah, freshman year.
Okay.
And then after that, it would probably be different now if that same injury happened to any person up the age of like 21, 22 years old. I don't know how long it would take, but it was kind of like a weird phase of like growing up, puberty, like growing, because by that time I was probably 5'11"-ish, down 6'2"-ish, 3-ish.
Yeah.
So I was growing, and like that's when I grew, and that's like right there. So it was kind of a weird stage. So it took longer than it probably should have been. But yeah, I broke that, and it pretty much just left me with like a really weird funny bone and a weenus. Like I have a lot of loose skin down there. Which, if you ever watch me pitch and, right as I get to like lay back.
I saw the photo.
Yeah. It's gross. And my left arm is not anything like that. So,
got you.
Yeah. That's about it.
Got you. Now,
I'm glad it happened.
Yeah. Well, because it probably kept you, in tune with everything a little bit more. And, how did that adjust? Because you have to do some of that, I'm sure, like preventative care, and you need to do some maintenance on that. Coming back, you've been absolute nails since that. So what does that month look like? Is it just, hey, rest and recovery, that kind of thing? Or is it, something entirely different?
Yeah. The start that it happened was against Akron, so the Guardians organization.
Yeah.
And, there was a lot of things that played into that. Just doing too much, not throwing strikes, not getting strikes called, kind of getting mad, throwing harder.
Yeah.
The more you throw, not even harder, just the more you throw, the higher risk of injury you are. And yeah, just kind of, was getting tight down there just from, multiple reasons. I was working really quick. I was throwing really hard.
Right.
And I wasn't throwing the right way, probably I literally didn't look back at anything from that game. I threw out everything.
Got you.
So I don't know, probably something was wrong with my mechanics. I know there was something wrong with mechanics. If you're not throwing strikes, if you've thrown strikes before and you don't throw strikes the next time, something's wrong with your body.
Right.
But yeah, I think that start sucked, but
yeah.
Jeez.
No, I mean, after that, dude, you've been phenomenal. And your first 2 starts in AAA, man, I mean, it was 7 shutout with 6 Ks, and then it was 6 shutout with 11 Ks on Friday. And, again, just getting back to the fastball, a lot of stuff is made out of, release height and VAA and vert and all that. How much do you pay attention to that? Because obviously you have an outlier fastball when it comes to that, where it's hard, you get good vert, you kind of cut the horizontal to a point where it's pretty much just like a straight arrow to the plate in a good way.
Yeah. I mean, try not to look at it, but you kind of have to.
Yeah.
I think some guys fall into a loophole of, being too much metrically focused. Of like, hey, Henry Davis in our pitchers meeting yesterday said it perfectly. Here's the days y'all say, man, my stuff wasn't there. Yeah, it was. It's still really hard to catch, really hard to see. Like, you just didn't execute the way you needed to. Like, your stuff's always, most of the time, going to be there.
Yeah.
Pending injury. Like, if you don't have an injury, your stuff's always going to be there. So, I don't necessarily look at that. I do, but I don't, live and die by it.
Got you.
In spring training, kind of had a hiccup with it. If it's anywhere from, say, 17 to 20, it's just cool.
Right.
Don't matter.
Right.
Starts dipping below that. You're just like, hey, like, what's going on?
Something's
like,
mechanically whacked out.
Mechanically, yeah. Spring training, that's kind of what happened. Shoulders were all out of balance, and I was throwing flat fastballs, as that would metrically say. Right. They were not flat with my arsenal. They weren't playing good at all.
Yeah.
And even if they were hard, it was just a ramped up BP fastball that I threw a lot, because I threw a lot of fastballs.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was it's a tough time. Having 3-4 days went by, and me and the Vic Black, our movement guy, and Brainton got that figured out pretty quick. But yeah, I think it's cool. Thomas Harrison's a guy who's trying to get to it,
right?
Trying to get to ride heater, and he's looking great. But yeah, he there's some guys that live by it, and there's some guys that don't. I like kind of being in the middle of like paying attention to it, but not living and dying by it.
Yeah. What does on feel like for you? It's like, I have my stuff. So obviously, when you say you don't have your stuff, and Henry obviously clarified, it's like you probably do. It's just a matter of execution.
Yeah.
What does the start feel like where it's, hey, I've got my stuff? Is it all off the fastball, or is it, hey, my slider's working too? By the way, slider or cutter? What do you call it?
It's a slider.
Okay.
With the minor league ball, I don't necessarily know how the cutters, like, how cutters are metrically based.
Right.
But I think it's like, plus vert could be minus horizontal, or kind of like on that like 0 to like 2 range horizontally.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's kind of like a gyro-ish thing, which kind of works,
For sure, especially off the fastball.
Yeah, something hard, something that's down. That's the biggest part is, it's down and away. Then my curveball is just straight down.
Yeah.
It's curveballs, if you look metrically, my curveball sucks. It's a terrible pitch.
But it all works off the arsenal.
Yeah.
It's all about the entire cake. And it's like, what does this ingredient do in the cake?
Yep. That's kind of, that's the way I look at it. I think, everything kind of plays off the heater. That's anyone, but not just someone who can, has the ability to throw harder.
Right.
I think, most of the guys, the heater is going to be the driver. Whether it's a, cut fastball, 2-seam, sinker, whatever, like, it's going to be the driver most of the time. And that's the, kind of the way I pitch. And, but really, if it's a curveball, if I'm in a bullpen and my curveball is coming out and I can, like, kind of feel it, sticking to the finger and getting down, I'm knowing, like, okay, like, it's going to be a good day. That means the slider and the curveball are going to be there, which, really, most of the time you can get away with those 2 pitches.
Yeah.
Especially if they're good, like, especially if they're, not moving a lot, but you're placing them well. And, if you're placing fastballs well, at a certain point, guys are going to start teeing off on you.
Right.
Yeah, if you're throwing off-speed stuff, like, it's tough to hit. It's moving a lot.
For sure.
Changing speeds. And, but yeah, I'd probably say a curveball.
Hey.
Which is weird because I hurt my arm on a curveball, and I just started throwing a curveball couple months ago.
Well, you can also turn your hand the other way too, and it's fun to watch. The arm side fade of the changeup with you, and it's it's not a firm changeup, but it's a harder changeup just because you naturally throw 97, 98. Where are you at in terms of changeup comfort level?
Oh, yeah, when we get reports and stuff on everything, my changeup, it's a good pitch. It's, metrically, it's it's pretty good to the eye, but. I'm bought in on my changeup. I love it. I love throwing it. And, every time I throw it, I think I was going to get a great swing on it. And, most of the time, like, anyone's changeup works most of the time, unless you just hang it.
Right.
Which I did last week in Nashville. But, yeah, my changeup's not over soft speed.
Got you.
If we're going to be honest. By, like, what, the Pirates kind of look at, what I kind of look at, of, like, am I striking it well enough? How in zone is it?
Yep.
Where am I throwing it? And I can command it pretty well. It's not good. Like, I can command it for a ball, but not for a strike. But we're getting there, It's, you want the changeup to lefties to be low and away, and then you want the changeups to righties to be low and in, which I can do that to righties. I can low and into righties, for the most part pretty well. And then lefties, Yeah. There's just so much more of a window that you can miss. If you're trying to go in on a righty, you got 6-7 inches until you drill them.
Yeah.
With the lefty, if you want to go away, you can't hit them because they're standing out of their batter's box. And but yeah, inching slowly closer and closer every start to kind of perfecting that, which is changeup's a great pitch.
Gotcha. Bubba Chandler, last one for you. Obviously you're shoving in your first 2 starts in AAA, so I could ask you one more baseball question, but so much of this game is figuring out what to do with your free time. Yeah. I saw a little quick hitter thing, and it was hunting in the off season. Yeah. And then it's video games and golf in the summertime.
Oh yeah.
What games are we playing?
Right now NCAA.
Yeah.
After last night, top 15,000 in the world. So
how about in NCAA 25?
Yeah.
What do we run? Do we run like air raid? What
Road to Glory.
Okay.
Or not Road to Glory. Road to the college football playoff.
Okay.
Kansas's offense or just power spread.
Gotcha.
Kansas offense has got like tricks and stuff in it. Power spreads, just
let's go.
Just athletes on athletes.
Fair.
Call of Duty. So okay. Resurgence, Warzone. Played Fortnite.
A little bit.
Back in the day a lot. And then as recently, just a little bit here and there. I'm still good at it. Like, I can build. I can't shoot, but I can build pretty well.
Got you.
Had a little PC, or not PC, but a little mouse and keyboard when when it first started to come out.
Okay.
So we got good fingers and whatnot. And that's about it.
I love it. Bubba Chandler, you're the man. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thanks.